Please, don't push us. It began with a signal. A strange, broken message came from Earth broadcasted across deep space, reaching every system under the Galactic Council's eye. The video was shaky. Smoke filled the screen. A human diplomat, covered in blood and dust, looked into the camera. His voice was weak. His hands trembled. Please, don't push us. Then silence. The signal ended. Across the stars, leaders from over 90 alien species watched the recording in their war rooms. Some laughed, some frowned, some just stared. Humans begging. They were strange creatures, always talking about peace, art, music, love. Their ships were small, their armies quiet. Their planet Earth was barely holding a seat in the council. Many believed humans were simply lucky to exist in the galaxy. But now, this message had changed something. On the giant world of Raltok, a war-hungry species called the Dravari saw this as a challenge. Their leader, Commander Creel, stood in front of his fleet. He grinned. His sharp teeth gleamed. They beg, Creel said, voice full of pride. Let's see what happens when we push. 10 massive warships launched from Raltok and entered hyperspace, their destination, Sol System. Earth back on the Galactic Council station. Ambassador Vena from the peaceful Yulani species watched the footage again. She wasn't laughing. Her hands were shaking. They're not begging because they're weak, she whispered. They're begging because they remember something. An old reptilian archivist next to her nodded slowly. He said, old human wars, long before they joined the council, before they became ... What kind of wars? The kind that erase cities? The kind that silence planets? Vena's skin turned pale. Why were those files locked? Because even the council was afraid of what humans once were. The Dravari ships reached Earth's orbit in less than 1 day. They expected a fight, but there was nothing. No ships, no shields, no warning, just silence. Commander Creel laughed again. They've already given up. He ordered his soldiers to land on the surface as they dropped into Earth's atmosphere. Their scanners found something odd. Cities were empty. Roads had no cars. Buildings stood, untouched. No fire, no signs of struggle, but not a single human. The lead Dravari scout looked around, confused. Where are they? The radio then. Something moved in the distance. A single human stood in the middle of a street wearing a long black coat. He had no weapons, just a small device in his hand. The soldiers surrounded him. Where are your people? The Dravari captain demanded. The man smiled softly. They listened, he said. Listen to what? The man raised the device. Small red light blinked. To the past. To the part we buried. To the part we promised never to use again. Creel watched the video feed from his ship. He leaned forward. Kill him, he ordered. But just before the soldiers could fire, the man whispered one last word. Ashes. The light turned green dot above Earth. All 10 Dravari warships detected something strange. From the moon's surface, hundreds of dark objects launched into space. They weren't ships. They had no engines, no heat, no signal, but they were fast. Too fast, Creel shouted. Shields up. It's too late. One of the objects passed through the hull of Ship 7 without touching it. Passed through. The ship exploded in complete silence. No fire, no sound. Just gone. Back on Earth, the man in the black coat looked at the terrified Dravari captain. We begged because we didn't want this, he said. But now, you've pushed. The Galactic Council went into full emergency mode. Alarms rang. Systems blinked red. The council chairwoman called an urgent meeting. We don't know what humans have activated, she said, but it's not war. Something older. Something worse. Ambassador Vena stood, her voice shaking. I told you, she said. They didn't beg because they feared us. Then why? They begged because they feared themselves. Meanwhile, across Earth, strange machines awakened, buried deep under the oceans, hidden inside mountains, floating inside clouds devices. Made of black alloy and red light, it began to move. They were not controlled by humans. They were waiting, waiting for this moment. Far out in the Sol system, on Mars, a child stood inside a lab. She looked up at the stars and held a small silver cube in her hand. She smiled. They finally pushed, she whispered. The cube blinked. Project Ashes initiated. The council chamber was filled with shouting. Aliens of every shape and color argued, pointing claws, fingers, and tentacles. One thing was clear: humanity had changed. Chairwoman Kaler slammed her staff on the floor. Silence. The room froze. The Javari attacked Earth without our permission, and now they are being erased. Ambassador Vena stood slowly. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed fear. This was never about Earth. This was about what happens after Earth is hurt. She held up a small data chip. This is from the old records. Before humanity joined the council, these files were hidden, sealed, labeled, "Do not view unless extinction-level threat." Then why are you opening them now? One counselor asked. Vena's hand trembled. "'Cause we may have already crossed that line," seen to Earth. Orbit aftermath 5 of the Dravari warships were gone. No wreckage. No remains. Just empty space. Creel screamed into the coms. "What are these weapons? What are these shadows?" There was no reply. Ship 3 detected movement. A single human. Escape pod floated nearby. Inside was nothing. No body. Just a note, this is your second warning. You won't get a third. His officers begged to retreat. We didn't sign up for this. But Creel snarled. You think I'll run from monkeys with ghosts and empty ships? Send everything. They launched full attack mode. Missiles, beams, bombardment. Earth's sky lit up with fire. But then nothing. No damage. No response. The weapons didn't hit anything. It was as if Earth wasn't there anymore. Scene 3. Underground human bunker. Classified location deep below Iceland. A hidden control room came alive. An old man walked in. His face had scars. His uniform was black. The name on his chest said General Marcus. He looked at the red blinking screens. Calm, cold. A voice echoed from the walls. "General, at a Dravari, have crossed Protocol Limit 6. He nodded, then activated. "Are you sure?" They pushed. Time to remind the stars who we were. Behind him, a large metal door opened. Inside, glowing in blue light, was a machine unlike anything known in the galaxy. It didn't look like a weapon. It looked like a mind. Its name, the Archive. The general placed his hand on it. "You'll lock Project Ashes. Phase 2. The Archive whispered, memories loading. Ting. Remembered. Scene 4. The Forgotten. Wars Council file playback inside the Council. Vena played the ancient files. The holograms flickered with old Earth footage. Tanks floating in the air. Bombs that froze time. Soldiers turning invisible. Whole alien planets. Wiped in hours. Not conquered. Not enslaved. Just gone. These were the first human wars, Vena said softly. Before they chose peace. Before they built music and art. Before they begged. One insectoid leader clicked nervously. Hey, did they stop? Vena looked him in the eye, because they were winning too, easily. Scene 5. Earth, the awakening. Across Earth, children began to sing an old tune. No one taught them, but they all knew the words. Ashes, ashes. They all fall down. The song echoed across every city, every forest, every ocean. Dravari soldiers still on Earth heard it in their helmets, in their heads, in their dreams. One soldier started crying. Please, make it stop. But there was no escape. The shadows of forgotten weapons walked again. Oh, they weren't made of metal. They were made of memory. Made of rage. Scene 6. Final council warning. A second signal came from Earth. It wasn't a scream. It was a calm voice. They asked nicely. We begged. You called us weak. You forgot what we were. Now you'll remember. The message ended with 3 words. Phase 2. Begin. Vena sat down slowly. This isn't war anymore, someone whispered. Then what is it? Judgment. The space above Earth had changed. Dravari radar picked up hundreds of objects leaving Earth's surface. Fast, silent, and cold. They weren't normal ships. No engines. No pilots. No signals. Just dark. Smooth shapes flying in perfect formation. Commander Creel shouted at his officers, "What are they?" One Dravari technician replied with terror in his voice, "They're not ships, sir. They're empty. Then shoot them down." They fired everything. Nothing hit. The ghost fleet simply phased through the missiles and kept moving. Dodging, not shielding. Just ... untouchable. Ship 4 was the first to go dark. No explosion. No damage, just ... silence. Scene 2. Earth Human Command bunker deep under the Arctic. General Marcus Red stood before a wall of screens. Screens showed a different part of the world. Oceans, deserts, cities, ruins. Dedisa report. He said calmly. A female AI voice replied, "Project Ashes. Phase 2 is live. Targets locked. Civilian zones secured. Shadow drones deployed." Red nodded. "Are we using lethal force?" "Not yet. The system is still alight." He turned to an officer beside him. "We told them. We warned them." The officer looked nervous. "Remind them of what, sir?" Red didn't answer. He just said one word. Ch. Scene 3. Dravari ground troops. Psychological collapsed Dravari soldiers on Earth were breaking. Their suits stopped working. Their weapons refused to fire. But worst of all, they heard things. Screams, laughter, their own voices. Saying things they never said. One soldier pointed his gun at a tree, sobbing, "It's my mother. She's calling me, but she died 50 years ago." Others began seeing dead relatives. Some saw entire battlefields from their own past. A captain screamed into his comms, "They're using something. It's inside our minds." But Earth was silent. No human ever appeared. Only memories. Scene 4. Archive room Human Super A. I awakens back. In the underground bunker, a strange machine opened its core. A glowing orb pulsed in the center, showing flashes of Earth's darkest wars. "Archive is synchronized," the AI announced. "Human memory index complete." His hand on a console. "You remember what they did to us before, don't you?" The archive pulsed again. "Yes, I remember Hiroshima, Baghdad, the fall of Europa, the burning of Mars." "Then do what you were built for." "Understood." Gauging memory, class. Weapons. Scene 5. Space shadow drones strike the Ghost Fleet, reach the edge of the Dravari warships. Still no attack. Then one drone passed through Ship 6. No explosion. Just silence. Then the ship tore itself apart from the inside. Crew members saw visions of Earth cities. Human children crying, burning skies, falling towers. These weren't illusions. They were recorded pain turned into a weapon. Inside Ship 2, the captain screamed, "This is not war. This is punishment." And then, silence. Scene 6. Galactic Council Growing Fear Ambassador Vena stood before the council again. "This is not about revenge. This is about what happens when a species that buried its darkness is forced to dig it back up." One council leader trembled. "Can we stop them?" Dana shook her head. "We didn't stop the Dravari. We ignored the warnings. Now, it's too late." The chairwoman asked, "What's the name of this weapon?" "They call it Project Ashes." "Why that name?" Vena looked around the chamber. "Because when they're done, nothing is left but dust." Scene 7. Final signal from Eartha. New broadcast went out to the galaxy. A human woman stood alone in a destroyed city. She looked tired, sad. "We were peaceful. We learned to forgive. We begged because we believed in mercy." She raised her eyes. "But now you've pushed. And so we'll teach you the meaning of fear." Behind her, the sky turned red. Hundreds of ships, real ships this time, rose from underground bases. The woman's voice echoed one last time. "This was never about war. This is about memory. And we never forget." Dravari ground soldiers ran through an empty city. Buildings stood untouched. No windows were broken, no doors were open, but the air was wrong. Too quiet, too still, too heavy. One soldier spoke softly. "Where are they?" Another whispered, trembling, "I think. We're not in their world anymore. We're in their mind." Suddenly, fire lit the sky, not from missiles, but from thin air. A memory of Earth's great wars played in full around them. They weren't watching it. They were inside it. Scene 2. Neuroecho chamber. Underground human facility inside an old bunker. Two humans monitored the battlefield. One of them, a young woman named Ava, wore a neural crown. Her eyes glowed blue. She was connected to neuroechoes, a human weapon that turned trauma into attack. Ava's voice was calm, almost cold. Sector 9 deployed. They're inside the fall of Tokyo now. Her partner nodded in Sector 12, dropping them into Operation Silent Storm. That one always breaks them. Scene 3. Alien soldiers, breaking Point Dravari troops, screamed. Inside their armor, one soldier fell to his knees. Sobbing, he saw burning children. He saw himself killing civilians he never knew. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Please, please." But the memories weren't his. They were borrowed human grief, forwarded and weaponized. Another soldier ran into a wall, shouting, "It's a dream. It's a lie." He burst into flames, not by fire, but by pure guilt. Scene 4. The Council's despair in the Galactic Council chambers. Panic spread. Species who had once laughed at humans now trembled at the data being sent in real time. "We're not fighting ships or soldiers," cried one leader. "We're fighting suffering itself." Ambassador Vena stood quietly, watching the madness. "You wanted to see what happens when humans are pushed too far," she said. "Now you're inside the fire they tried so hard to bury." Scene 5. One small act of mercy in the ruins of an old Earth school, a group of Dravari soldiers hid. Their captain was badly wounded. They expected death. Then, little human girl appeared, barefoot, holding a small metal sphere. They pointed weapons at her. She smiled. "Don't worry, you're not like the others. You don't enjoy pain." She pressed the sphere. A soft hum filled the air. The soldiers looked around. No fire, no horror, no screams, just peace. "Are you helping us?" the captain asked. "Because if one of you remembers kindness," she said softly, "then maybe we haven't lost everything." She walked away. Behind her, the mountain melted silently into red mist. Scene 6. The archive speaks in the deepest part of Earth's defense system. The archive AI opened a new file. Project Ashes, final phase, memory collapse. General Marcus read. Hesitated. "Is it time?" The AI responded, "The enemy does not understand words. They only understand silence after fire." Red looked at the stars above, and give them what they understand. Scene 7. Across the stars, the fire-spread ships from Earth, now fully active, began to move beyond the Sol system, but they weren't attacking. They were broadcasting. Every planet, every moon, every space station heard the same voice. "We are not conquerors. We are not your enemy. But we are no longer your prey. We remember what was done to us, and now you will remember what we are." On the edge of the galaxy, a small alien listening post picked up a weak signal. Static filled the room, and a child's voice came through. "They pushed us." The engineers stared at each other. "Who is that?" the signal repeated. "Hey, pushed us. So now we push back." Then the stars above them began to dim. Scene to Earth, inside Project Ashes, core inside the heart of Project Ashes. Deep beneath Earth's surface, the archive AI pulsed with growing energy. General Marcus read. Stood in the command chamber. Phase 3, ready, replied the AI. Psychological collapse complete. Military threat neutralized. Emotional echoes expanding. He turned to a hologram of the Galactic Council. "You had your warnings. Now you will learn through fire." He pressed his palm to the control panel. The screen turned red. Ashes, final push engaged. Scene 3. Dravari, homeworld, a dead sky, far across the stars. On the Dravari homeworld, citizens ran outside as alarms rang. The sun flickered, then vanished. No explosion, no sound, just darkness. The sky turned black and time began to slow. A strange fog fell over the planet. People forgot where they were, forgot who they were. One child whispered, "I can't remember my own name." Planet's core froze. Scene 4. Council chambers begging, begins Ambassador Vena stood. In silence as chaos unfolded around her, a reptilian leader screamed, "They're erasing time. Our people are forgetting existence." Another cried, "Tell them to stop." "We surrender." Vena lowered her head. "You're not dealing with soldiers anymore. You're inside the memory of a species that once destroyed itself and survived." The chairwoman wept. "We should have listened when they begged." Scene 5. Orbit of a dying moon, a human child, and a collapsing moon near the Triax system. An alien rescue team found a single life form, a human child. She was sitting beside a glowing sphere, smiling. "You came," she said. The captain aimed. "His weapon? Are you the one doing this?" She looked at him with sad eyes. "No, I'm just the messenger. Then stop this." She stood, pointing to the stars. "They burned our cities, killed our kind. We begged them not to. And now we're showing them what we learned in the fire." The sphere behind her exploded in blue light. Scene 6. Inside the mind of the archive, back on Earth. The archive AI spoke to General Red. Final push underway. Enemy memory loops initiated. Galactic threat percentage. 4% and dropping. Red looked into the glowing screen. A map of the galaxy slowly turning black. "We always held back. We chose peace." He turned away. "Not anymore." Scene 7. The broadcast final warning, a final message, was sent from Earth to all systems. A human woman stood in a dark room, lit only by red emergency lights. Her face was calm. "We were the children who learned to heal, to build, to create." She leaned closer to the camera. "But we were born in fire, forged in pain, and we never forget." Behind her, a hologram showed entire star systems going, dark one by one. "You wanted to see our limits? You found them. This is the last push." In the Council's central data room, a galaxy map flickered red, then black. One by one, star systems blinked out. Not destroyed by bombs or battles, just gone. "We've lost contact with 7 sectors," an alien technician cried. "No survivors, no signals, no time lag. Just disappeared." Ambassador Vena's voice was flat. "They're not killing planets. Then what are they doing?" She whispered, "They're unmaking them." Scene 2. Human drone fleet. No mercy above the planet Zyron 3. The full human drone fleet arrived. Thousands of dark, silent machines floated in orbit. The Zyron defense grid launched. Missiles, lasers, beams. Nothing worked. The drones didn't fire back. They just hovered. For 10 minutes, then the planet's gravity reversed. Rivers floated upward. Mountains collapsed inward. Buildings crumbled in silence. In space, a human AI voice spoke for the first time in hours. "You erased our past, so we erased your present." Scene 3. Council emergency shelter, breaking point inside a fortified moon station. The Galactic Council leaders huddled. Some cried, some shouted, some simply stared. "They aren't even speaking to us now," a counselor whispered. "They aren't asking for peace. They aren't demanding anything." Ambassador Vena looked at the ceiling. "They're finished talking. Talking didn't work. Begging didn't work. What do we do now?" She answered quietly. "We remember." Scene 4. Earth, the cold center of it all. While the galaxy burned, Earth was calm. No celebrations, no cheering, no rage, just quiet. Humans walked through peaceful cities, while children played in parks. Factories worked silently, producing drones and memory devices. A human teacher stood before her class. "Class, today's lesson is about restraint." She paused. Restraint means you choose not to do what you're capable of. One child raised her hand. Did we show restraint this time? The teacher looked sad, till they pushed. Yes. Scene 5. Council Peace Mission. No reply the council sent. A peace ship to Earth. One last attempt. A golden vessel arrived in orbit. It was beautiful, unarmed. Carrying diplomats, artists, healers, they sent messages. We are sorry. Speak to us. Let's rebuild together. No reply. They waited. After 3 hours, a single human message came through. A woman's voice. You waited too long. Then the peace ship gently began to fall, not by force, but by choice. Its systems failed, its memory wiped. Its orbit reversed, it drifted into the sun. No one screamed. Scene 6. A warning left behind on a frozen moon. Near the Orion Rift, a small abandoned station began broadcasting again. A single human sat on a chair, looking at the stars. We don't hate you, he sighed. But we warned you, we begged you, not once, not twice. But always he turned to the camera. It wasn't a threat. It was a favor. Please, don't push us. He faded into static. Scene 7. Final words in the council, with more than half the galaxy dark. The council met one last time. Ambassador. Vena walked to the center of the hall. They gave us every chance, and we broke them anyway. Now the galaxy belongs to memory, to silence, to shadows, the chairwoman asked. Is it over? Vena replied, No, this was only the middle. In the ruins of the old world, Earth had built something strange. A city of peace. No weapons, no guards, just silence and wind. A golden ship from the council landed in the center. Only one diplomat stepped out, a young alien named Relax. Known for mercy and reason, he walked slowly, hands raised, no armor. No words. A human woman with silver eyes waited for him on a stone bench. Her voice was soft, calm. Sit. If you mean peace, you don't need to kneel. He sat, shaking. I've been sent to end this. The woman looked up at the sky. It's already ending. Yeah, you just want to survive it.
Scene 2.
The conversation. Quiet and deadly Relax chose his words carefully. Billions are gone. Entire systems are erased. We understand now, please. What do you want? It's not about what we want. It's about what you lost. We can rebuild. Can you? She interrupted. You built empires on bones. You called it peace. You taught the galaxy to fear force. Lax lowered his eyes. Do we do now? She reached into a metal box and slid it across the table. Inside, a small black button. Press this, and everything resets. Scene 3. The offer Lax stared at the button. What do you mean? She leaned forward, voice colder now. Your minds, your planets, your data all connected through the lattice net. That net still. Touches old Earth code. Press the button. And we reboot your entire civilization. Memory wipe? Yes. You'll forget the wars, forget the pain, but you'll also forget who you were. What happens to you? She smiled sadly. We remember everything. It's the price. Scene 4. The council debates back at the shattered council stronghold. Relax broadcast the offer. Some wanted to press it. Others screamed. That's madness. Letting the humans control our memories. It's that or die in silence. Ambassador. Vena stepped forward. We caused this. We laughed at their warnings. Now we beg for mercy from the very hands we once called weak. So what do? She said quietly. We give them the choice we never gave them. Scene 5. Memory. Of the fire human flash back on Earth, the woman with silver eyes stood alone in the rain. She looked at the city around her. She remembered being a child. She remembered the first time. She saw an alien fleet burn a human colony. She remembered when humanity decided to beg and how no one listened. We were never angry, she whispered. We were just tired. Scene 6. The press Relax returned to New Geneva. He stood before the button. If I press this, It resets the galaxy. Yes, she said, but the humans will never forget. We'll carry the pain alone. And if I don't press it, then the galaxy ends. He took a deep breath. Then I press it. Not because I'm afraid, but because I'm ashamed. He pressed the button. Nothing exploded. The wind blew softly, Scene 7, across the stars. A new dawn, planets once erased, flickered back into existence. People awoke in their homes. Unaware they had ever died. Armies vanished. War records erased. Children laughed. Music returned, but Earth stayed the same, alone, quiet, watching, because only the humans remembered. The stars were bright again. Planets returned. Cities rebuilt. Peace returned. Alien species lived as if nothing had happened. They didn't remember the war. They didn't remember the silence. Didn't remember the begging. Just peace. The council met once more, smiling, proud, but none of them noticed the one seat left empty. Earth Scene 2. Earth, the ones who remember on Earth, skies were clear. Nature was healing. Children laughed in streets, but behind the laughter was silence. Humans remembered everything, every death, every betrayal, every push. They didn't speak of it. They didn't teach it in schools. They didn't write it in books. But they remembered, in memory. It's a weapon all its own. Scene 3. The last message. In a quiet room deep under Earth's surface, the woman with silver eyes sat before a camera. She recorded one final message, not to the galaxy, but to future humans. You must understand, we chose not to destroy them, not because they deserved mercy. She paused, her voice trembling. But because we deserved peace. She looked straight into the lens. They will push again, someday, somewhere. When that day comes, don't beg. Choose. Scene for a distant future, a familiar mistake. Hundreds of years passed. A new empire, from a far part of the galaxy, rose in power. They saw humans as quiet, strange, easy to ignore. They whispered to each other. The humans were once feared. But now, they are nothing. One young alien general smiled. Let's test them. Just a little. Scene 5. Hidden Earth response protocol back on Earth. Signal was detected. One line of text appeared on every screen in the deep command. Bunkers. They're pushing. Inside a dark chamber, lights turned on. Dust cleared. A machine powered up. One that hadn't moved in centuries. A voice echoed in the darkness. Reset complete. Memory locked. But we remember. Scene 6. Final narration. The truth, we were the ones who begged for peace. You saw that as weakness. We were the ones who warned you. You called it fear. But when we finally rose, we did not rise in anger. We rose in silence. The screen fades to black. That's the price of pushing. Final shot. Black screen, final message appears. You were warned. We begged. You pushed. Never again.